What's up, everyone? This is the Next Tape Podcast, episode 175 with Mikel and
Tanyka.
where we have conversations on different topics. So today we're having our third special episode on our Black History Month series. If you guys want to check the second and the first, it's available right now on the Next Tape Podcast. Also, if you guys want to check our previous Black History Month series, it's also on the Next Tape Podcast. It's also available on Apple, Spotify, and
Not
other
any
platforms.
podcast that
So
podcast thing that you
yeah,
listen to your podcast on.
yeah. So check those out, and yeah. So on today's episode, what are we talking about, Tanika?
We are going to be talking about Michael Jackson. Thought it fitting to do this as he really did shape Black music and Black people's journeys through music. As well as the biopic is coming out very soon. So
Right.
thought that it would be quite fitting to talk about him.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Okay.
All right. Let's jump into it. So, Michael Joseph Jackson, born August 29th, 1958, and died June 25th, 2009, was an American singer, songwriter, dancer, and philanthropist. Dubbed the King of Pop, he is widely regarded as one of the most culturally significant figures of the 20th century. Over a 4-decade career, his musical achievements broke American racial barriers and made him a dominant figure worldwide. Through his songs, concerts, and fashion, he proliferated visual performance for artists in popular music, popularizing street dance moves such as the moonwalk, the robot, and the anti-gravity lean. Jackson is often deemed the greatest entertainer of all time. The 8th child of the Jackson family, Michael made his public debut at age 6 as the lead singer of the Jackson 5, one of Motown's most successful acts. He rose to solo stardom with the album Off the Wall, which was debuted in 1979, and achieved unprecedented global success with Thriller, that was in 1982, the best-selling album in history. Its short film style music videos for Thriller, Beat It, and Billie Jean redefined the medium as an art form. Jackson followed it with Bad in 1987, the first album to produce 5 U.S. Billboard Hot 100 #1 singles with I Just Can't Stop Loving You, Bad, The Way You Make Me Feel, Man in the Mirror, and Dirty Diana. His next 2 albums, Dangerous, which was in 1991, and History, spelled His Story, in 1995, explored social conscious themes, while Invincible in 2001, which was, I believe, his final one before his death, delved into more personal topics. From the mid-1980s, Jackson came under public scrutiny due to changes in his appearance, relationships, behavior, and lifestyle. And as we know, he was accused of sexually abusing the child of a family friend in 1993, but family friend? Wait a minute. No, he wasn't. He wasn't. Okay, forget it. I'm sorry. He was not a family friend, just a
Family friend,
friend
family friend of who? Say it
of
again.
him. Okay. He wasn't a family friend, the kid.
Uh-huh.
He was a friend. He knew his parents.
Mhm.
His father was a dentist. I mean, it's a whole thing. His father was a dentist. As we know, he did settle out of court for this, which kind of put in the air whether or not he was guilty. Um, but it was fairly seen that the father was trying to extort money from Michael Jackson at that time. He was struggling. Um, and in case nobody knows this, the father did he kill himself? I don't know if he killed himself, but He did
Mm,
die fairly recently, like, within the
mhm,
last 6, 7 years,
mhm.
and it was a whole thing that it could have been because of his money situation and whatever, like,
Mm,
he was still struggling up until, like, his death.
mhm,
So, it was a whole thing, but for this thing,
mhm.
Wikipedia, to say family friend is it just makes it look like this kid was a friend of the entire Jackson family or whatever, and
Right.
it's weird because he wasn't, but
Mm, okay.
anyways, anyways,
Maybe it's just a little bit, if
maybe,
misinformation, you
maybe.
know?
And at that time, I mean, he wasn't married yet. He hadn't been married even the first time. So
Mhm,
there were no children involved. He didn't have
mhm.
kids yet. So it wasn't like it was his immediate family or like his family that he'd created. It was just him. So I'm like, what family friend? Like he was not. Anyways, I'm
Right,
sorry.
right.
I'm going to probably debunk some few things in here, I'm sure, because Wikipedia can't be trusted. Um,
Mhm, mhm,
Anyway, in 2005, Jackson was tried and acquitted of further such allegations and other charges. Again, yeah, okay. But this time he went through the whole system because he wanted to prove a point.
mhm,
I didn't do it. So, in 2009, while preparing for This Is It, a series of comeback concerts, he
mhm,
died from an overdose of propofol administered by his personal physician, Conrad Murray, who was convicted of involuntary manslaughter in 2011. Jackson's death triggered global reactions, creating unprecedented surges of internet traffic and a spike in his music sales, as it happens with every person who dies. Um, his televised memorial service, held at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, is estimated to have been viewed by more than 2.5 billion people. And I was one of those people. Jackson is one of the best-selling music artists of all time with estimated sales of over 500 million records. He holds a joint record for a male solo artist with 13 Billboard Hot 100 number one singles and
mhm,
is the only artist to have a top 10 single in 6 decades. One of the most awarded music artists in history, Jackson received 13 Grammy Awards, the Grammy Legend Award, and the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, 26 American Music Awards, 12 World Music Awards, 8 MTV Video Music Awards, 6 Brit Awards, and 3 presidential honors. He was inducted into numerous halls of fame, including the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and the Dance Hall of Fame. Didn't know that was a thing.
mhm,
Having donated an estimated $500 million, Jackson is credited with setting a standard for celebrity charity. In 2024, half of his music catalog was sold to Sony. Oh no, sold to Sony? He hated Sony. Okay. Anyways, I'm sorry. Sold to Sony for $600
mhm,
million,
mhm.
the largest music acquisition
I
for a
mean, but
single artist.
this is probably one of the reasons why you hated Sony, you know?
He
Before
hated Sony. I can't remember the details. I was young, but he had an issue with the
y
head of Sony at that time. I
this
think it had to do with
this is probably that time.
yeah, it had to do with the contract that he had in place, like how many
It's
because you know how, like, with artists, like, how many you get a
yeah.
contract or how
Yeah,
many
yeah,
scenes you
360
do,
deal,
right?
etcetera. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, this is probably
Yeah.
the contract that he's going into right now, so it's
Mm.
probably
Well,
yeah.
I don't
Is it
know. It
not?
wouldn't be him because he was already gone, right? It's
Mhm.
whoever is in charge of his estate. And
Oh, no,
unfortunately
I mean, what you're talking about right now, like, the
oh, right
contract.
now, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 that's probably why he hates Sony so, like, yeah,
Oh, yeah. Like,
to extent. Yeah.
when he did Invincible, which was his last one,
Yeah, yeah.
he I remember, like, vividly this picture of him, like, saying, like, basically, like I can't remember the guy's name, um, but, like, F, the head of the Sony at that time, um, like, he was kind of like you know what? He really was kind of like a Prince in that moment, honestly, because Prince was very vocal about, artist rights and all of that and, why he changed his name to a symbol and all of this.
Mhm,
Um, Michael really did the same thing in that moment with Sony. Um, But and I think also it had to do with the advertising of the album as well, like, the advertisement for the album apparently was again, I was, like, 10, so I don't remember everything, but it was, like, horrible. Because again, if you look at the sales of that album, it's less than any album that came before. It was, like, 10,000,000,
Mhm, mhm,
10 or 11,000,000, which
mhm.
was not very much for him, um, at that
Right.
time, but
Mm.
anyways.
Yeah.
So, his early life. So, we're going from 1958 to 1975.
Mhm,
So, Michael Joseph Jackson was born in Gary, Indiana on August 29th, 1958. He was the 8th of 10 children. Technically 10, okay, okay, 10, technically 10 children. We don't need to get into that. 8th of 10 children in the Jackson family, a working class African American family living in a two-bedroom house on Jackson Street, was not named after him. His mother, Katherine Jackson, played clarinet, cello, and piano and aspired to be a country and Western performer and worked part time at Sears. She was a Jehovah's Witness. His father, Joe Jackson, was a former boxer, crane operator, at U.S. Steel, and guitarist for local rhythm and blues band The Falcons.
mhm,
Michael grew up with three sisters, Rebe, Latoya, and Janet, and five brothers, Jackie, Tito, may he rest, Jermaine, Marlon, and Randy. A sixth brother, Marlon's twin, Brandon, died shortly after his birth. I did not know that. Okay.
mhm,
See, when they said 10, I thought they meant the illegitimate child, Joe Jackson, that came later. But
mhm,
anyways, um, in 1964, Michael and Marlon joined the Jackson Brothers, a band formed by their father, which included Jackie, Tito, and Jermaine, as backup musicians playing congas and tambourine. Michael said his father physically and emotionally abused him during rehearsals. He
mhm,
recalled that Joe often sat in a chair with a belt in his hand, ready to punish any mistakes. Joe acknowledged that he regularly whipped Michael. He got it the most. Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, and Marlon denied that their father was abusive and said that the whippings, which had a deeper impact on Michael because he was younger, kept them disciplined and out of trouble, which is why he got it the worst. Michael said that during his youth, he was lonely and isolated.
mhm,
Like, okay, the thing that like we have to remember about him that he doesn't always, or I should say, he didn't always talk about,
mhm,
is yes, he was getting the beatings from his father.
mhm.
He would go as far as to say he loved his father, but he would go as far as to say like he hated him in at moments.
Because of this?
Absolutely,
Because oh, sorry.
because of the beatings.
Was it
Um,
was did he explain how severe it was, or was it just
oh, it was
basically
bad.
more for discipline? Oh,
No,
okay.
no, no, whippings, like belt
Okay.
whippings. He not only that, but he not only
So
physically, but mentally,
if
he
yeah.
abused him as well,
So
making fun
yeah.
of his features, making fun of his face, saying, "Oh, you have like your skin's all pockmarked,"
Yeah.
and "Oh, your nose is big." Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Michael
That
had Joe's nose.
yeah, that's not right.
Like, exactly. So
Yeah.
when people would like make fun of him and be like, "Oh, his nose is falling," I'm not saying it's right, but the
Mm,
man did these plastic surgeries like crazy because he didn't like looking at himself in the mirror because who did he see when he looked in the mirror? His
mm.
father. Pre-surgery, Michael looks like his father.
So
So
I wonder
he
if he had those
he had
thoughts
body dysmorphia for sure.
throughout his life,
Yeah. Yeah.
through his music too. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, no, he had body dysmorphia. He just never said that, but I don't know if
Okay.
anyone ever diagnosed him with that. Because again, I feel like
Mhm.
body dysmorphia is something we talk more regularly about today,
Mhm.
post his death. We didn't really talk about it as much back then, we just didn't have a
Um,
name for it. But
um,
yeah, he battled body dysmorphia, which is why he did that. And then, not only was he dealing with his father, but he was also dealing with the fact that he was the youngest. I mean, Marlon's not much older than wasn't much older than him, but he was the oldest. He
um,
had these older teenage brothers. So when they would go out and perform, what's Jackie, Tito, and Jermaine doing? They're bringing girls back. And they were getting intimate with these girls in the same room where Michael was as well. I'm sorry, but that messes you up. Of like, is this what this is? Like that will psychologically mess somebody up as well. So, or have like a unhealthy relationship with sex.
Yeah,
So
definitely. Mhm.
he's dealing with it from all ends.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, that's something he didn't really talk about a lot, but it was definitely brought up. If you watch like there is a movie, again, this biopic that they're doing for him isn't the first thing they've done. They
Mhm.
have done another one. It was a series. It was called American Dream, Jackson Family, I think is what it was called. Watched it a long, long time ago. And they
Is that one more of a documentary, or is it also is it a biopic?
well, it's it is a more biopic. It's like a docu-series in a sense.
Mm.
I think it was 6 episodes, and
Mm.
fairly long episodes. I think they were like 2 hours each. And, it was back in 1990 is when they did it. So it
Oh,
goes up until that point, obviously, where he was still alive and
mm.
obviously has a end there, but,
Oh,
um
they did biopics back then? Oh,
oh, yeah,
mhm.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not as popular as they are today, but, oh, yeah, they definitely did biopics back then,
Mhm.
100%. Um, I mean, I think the bigger thing was, like, autobiographies, like, doing, like, books, like, which he does have. He does have an autobiography that he did in the '80s, I believe. But, yeah, there was this too, and it was really well
Mm.
done, and, but that was one of the things that was shown in the series was the brothers bringing girls back to their room with him right there, and, I mean, he would have been 12,
Mhm.
maybe. Like, that's messes you up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so later in 1965, Michael began sharing lead vocals with Jermaine, and the group's name was changed to the Jackson 5. In 1965, the group won a talent show. Michael performed the dance to Robert Parker's 1965 song Barefootin' and sang The Temptations' My Girl. From 1966 to 1968, the Jackson 5 toured the Midwest. They frequently played at a string of black clubs known as the Chitlin Circuit as the
Mhm.
opening act for artists such as Sam and Dave, the OJs, Gladys Knight, and Etta James. The Jackson 5 also performed at clubs and cocktail lounges where striptease shows were featured and at local auditoriums and high school dances. In August 1967, while touring the East Coast, they won a weekly amateur night concert at the Apollo Theater in Harlem. It's a pretty big deal. The Jackson 5 recorded several songs for a Gary record label, Steeltown Records. Their first single, Big Boy, was released in 1968. Bobby Taylor of Bobby Taylor and the Vancouvers brought the Jackson 5 to Motown after they opened for Taylor at Chicago's Regal Theater in 1968. Taylor produced some of their early Motown recordings, including a version of Who's Loving You. Do you know that song?
No,
Who's Loving You? Oh, Michael? Young Michael singing Who's Loving You and the notes he hits. It's probably one of my favorite songs of the Jackson 5 catalog because he's so good. He's
Mhm.
so good. It's such a good song. Okay. After signing with Motown, the Jackson family relocated to Los Angeles. In 1969, Motown executives decided Diana Ross should introduce the Jackson 5 to the public, partly to bolster her career in television, sending off what was considered Motown's last product of its production line. The Jackson 5 made their first television appearance in 1969 in the Miss Black America pageant, performing a cover of It's Your Thing. Like, it's
Mhm.
your thing. You know. Rolling Stone later described the young Michael as a prodigy with overwhelming musical gifts who quickly emerged as the main draw and lead singer. In January 1970, I Want You Back became the first Jackson 5 song to reach number one on the US Billboard Hot 100. It stayed there for 4 weeks. Three more singles with Motown topped the chart: ABC, The Love You Save, God, I love that song, and I'll
Mm,
Be There. In May 1971, the Jackson family moved into a large house at Havenhurst, a 2-acre estate in Encino, California. During this period, Michael developed from a child performer into a teen idol. Between 1972 and 1975, he released
mhm,
4 solo studio albums with Motown. Got to Be There. Oh, I didn't know that was solo. Oh, yeah, true. Got to Be There, which I love
mm,
too. Ben, which my
mhm.
mother literally just sang 2 days ago. Music and Me, and Forever Michael, 1975. Do you know? I'm assuming you don't know much of the Jackson 5 catalog.
No, not really.
No.
I just know that they were a group and
Hmm.
they were pretty good,
Hmm.
and then
Pretty good.
there was
Very good. Um,
that's what yeah, and then they had a falling out. That's basically it. I saw the
the falling
many
out's a
times.
little. It's not, I wouldn't consider it a falling out. Technically, Jermaine Jackson had a falling out with the group, and he left, and Randy came in.
Mm,
But I wouldn't consider it a falling out. It was more Michael kind of being like, "This I'm out. I want to do this by myself now. I don't
mm,
want to be tied to my brothers
mm,
anymore."
mhm,
So it wasn't really falling out, it was more Michael putting his foot down and being like, "I'm done
mhm,
with this. I
mhm,
don't need you guys anymore. I'm good." Because it wasn't until after Thriller was when he was finally like, "I'm done. Like, I'm done." So, I wouldn't consider it falling out, but, um, some of the songs that they have is really good,
mhm,
but maybe this is an unpopular opinion for me. I don't tend to seek out Jackson 5 songs very often.
mhm,
I don't know why, more so than this is not a very Michael Jackson fan of me to say. I can't stand Michael's voice as a kid.
oh, I'm
To
sure
me,
I'm sure a lot of, like, people who are Michael Jackson fans have similar,
maybe,
opinions.
maybe. I know my mom feels the same way too, but it's
Mhm,
for me, I don't know if it's not about his voice not being developed or anything like
yeah.
that. It wasn't so much about that. It was just like his voice was annoying. Sorry. His voice
Oh,
was
so,
annoying.
I don't know what song was it. It was pretty good for a kid, like, one song, I can't remember for the Jackson 5, but it was
Are you
yeah,
thinking maybe I'll be there?
probably, that was
Yeah, 'cause
probably
that's the
one
most
song.
popular one for them.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
No,
pretty good
his
song.
his voice wasn't as annoying in that one, but
Mhm,
they Got to Be There, for example, which, I'm sure you don't know that one, but it's like his v with Got to Be There, it's like he kinda gets to like this, "Got to be there, got," and then he goes, like, high, and when he goes high, that's it. When he goes
mhm,
into his higher register as a
mhm,
child, drives me nuts. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for anyone who is an MJ fan and you're over here hating on me for saying this, but I'm gonna say, when he went into his higher register as a child, I was out. I'm like, "No, I can't." I can deal with it, but I don't seek it out.
mhm,
Or even, like, never I think I mentioned it before, Never Can Say Goodbye. Same thing. It's and it's a great song, but
mm.
Michael's voice wasn't fully there yet as a child. Like, his
Yeah,
voice was great, but he
yeah,
wasn't there
obviously,
yet.
when you're a child, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, no, which is
yeah,
totally
yeah,
understandable,
yeah,
right? He's still going through changes and
mhm,
whatever, but,
mhm,
like,
mm,
yeah, for me, I preferred him in his lower register,
mhm,
although, like I did say, like, the other one that, the one I said that I liked as well, which was, I can't remember the name of the song right now, but, again, he does go into his higher register, but I feel like he was a
mhm,
little bit more controlled. I don't know, it was yeah,
mm,
I don't know. Personally, my favorite song of the Jackson 5 is actually one not sung by Michael, sung by Jermaine, and it's Daddy's Home. I love that song.
Mm,
I think Jermaine sounds awesome, but again, Jermaine was older, so his voice is already developed.
right,
Um, so he had a different sound than Michael did.
right, right.
Um, so yeah, and I was gonna say Ben. I hate that song.
Mhm. Mhm.
I know you probably don't know it, but
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
no.
literally him singing to a mouse. Ben is a mouse. Apparently,
Oh,
there's a
okay, no.
movie or something. I hate that song. I'm sorry.
Mhm,
I've never
mhm,
liked it. I think it sucks. Sorry. Anyways,
mm,
let's move on. Um, so yeah, Ben, the title tracks from his first two solo albums, sold as well as singles, as did a cover of Bobby Day's Rock and Robin,
mm,
which I do like that version of Rock and Robin. Michael maintained ties to the Jackson Five. The Jackson Five were later described as a cutting edge example of Black crossover artists.
mm,
They were frustrated by Motown's refusal to allow them creative input because Barry Gordy wasn't about it. The only input that mattered was his.
mm.
Jackson's performance of their top five single, Dancing Machine. That one I love. Do you know that? Come on. Please tell me you know Dancing Machine.
I probably know it, but,
Dancing,
like, I probably
dancing, dancing, do, 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 she dancing machine. Sorry. I love
yeah,
that
no,
song.
I never heard of it, no.
Oh, it's so good. That Michael's voice was more developed in that song. He was a bit older.
Mhm,
Because I think that I don't know what year that one came out, but he was a bit older in that one. And it sounds like Michael, you know. So I absolutely love that song. And it's more dancey, which is a lot of the songs that they kind of did back then was more dancey. And I love it. Dance Machine is great. Anyways, yeah, Dance Machine on Soul Train popularized the robot dance. So
mm,
now we're going to kind of more off the wall and had moved to Epic Records. So we're going to be from 75 to 81.
mhm,
The Jackson 5 left Motown in 1975, signing with Epic Records and renaming themselves the Jacksons. Fun fact, they couldn't continue with Jackson 5 because Motown owned the moniker Jackson 5. So they had to switch over to the Jacksons instead because of that.
mm.
Yep, that was in their contract and they missed it. They didn't realize it was in their contract. Anyways, it wasn't just them. Barry Gore did it to everybody that he worked with. He owned the music, he owned the names of the peoples, he owned
This
everything.
is when a lot of artists didn't read contracts, so I don't know,
Yeah,
yeah, so,
yeah,
they get mad after
yep,
and then,
yep,
yeah, so
yep, yeah. It Barry Gordy one day I am gonna talk about Motown, talk about Barry Gordy
mhm,
because he's
mhm,
fascinating. But Barry Gordy was a businessman. I have to give him props for it. He was a businessman, but he was a dick.
mhm,
But he was a businessman, most of them are.
mhm,
So, give him that. Anyways, so yeah, the younger brother, Randy, joined the band, not Randy Jackson from American Idol, the
mhm,
other Randy. He joined the band around this time. Jermaine stayed with Motown because, well, he pursued a solo career. But another fun fact, Jermaine stayed with Motown Records because he married Berry Gordy's daughter. So
mhm,
it'd be really weird if he left Motown Records after that. Fun fact.
wow,
Anyways, that marriage will not last, but this is not about Jermaine Jackson, so let's move on. Um, the Jacksons continued to tour internationally and released six more albums between 1976 and 1984. Michael, the group's main songwriter during this time, wrote songs such as Shake Your Body Down to the Ground,
mhm,
1978, The Place Hotel, 1980, and Can You Feel It, 1980 as well. In 1977, Jackson moved to New York City to star as the Scarecrow in The Wiz, a musical film directed by Sidney Lumet,
mhm,
alongside Diana Ross, Nipsey Russell, and Ted Ross, which was a box office failure. Although,
mhm.
if I'm not wrong, isn't that movie popular today? Like The Wiz, not I'm not getting confused anything about, but like The Wiz. Like I've heard people talk about it and people watch it. I've seen it on
The
TV.
Wiz. I never
You
heard of
don't
The
know The
Wiz.
Wiz? Oh, I'm gonna take your black
Wiz?
card away. I'm taking your black card away.
The Wiz?
The Wiz. So it's basically a black version of The Wizard of Oz. So Diana Ross played like Dorothy. Michael
Yeah,
played the
no.
Scarecrow.
Yeah,
And I
no.
don't know who played everybody else,
I have
but
never seen it, no.
no, I've seen
I've seen The Wizard of
bits and
Oz, yeah,
oh yes, I've
but
seen Wizard of Oz,
yeah.
but I've seen bits and pieces of The Wiz, like just
Uh-huh,
long enough to see Michael's
uh-huh,
acting chops as a scarecrow.
uh-huh.
Um, but like I didn't really care for it, to be totally
Yeah.
honest with you.
Yeah, no.
Um, I do know like there is like one song that's very popular, so I can't remember which one that was now. Who cares? But I will say this from the little bit that I know, and I do think that Michael was very fitting for the Scarecrow.
Mhm,
He encompassed the role of Scarecrow because we remember Scarecrow being very, you know, tumbly and it doesn't have bones and kind of thing, right?
mhm.
Michael embraced that, so he did do really well. But then the movie sucked. The movie didn't do good. But the film's score was arranged by Quincy Jones,
Mhm.
who later produced three of Jackson's solo albums. That's Off the Wall, Thriller, Bad. During his time in New York, Jackson frequented the Studio 54 nightclub, where he heard early hip hop. This influenced his beatboxing on beatboxing.
Hmm.
Did he beatbox? I mean,
I have never seen that.
no, me neither. I mean, may, mm, I feel like there is a song where I remember hearing, if you want to call it beatboxing, sure, but I would not consider it beatboxing. Michael
Hmm.
didn't beatbox.
Hmm.
Weird. Okay. All
You
right,
said
Wikipedia. I see
you
you
said
getting that wrong again.
maybe you should do the research. Maybe you did. You sh-
Like,
Maybe you did.
what song did Michael Jackson beatbox in? That's what I want to know. Because, I mean, I don't know what song it is, but I can think of a song where he maybe is doing some form of beatboxing, but I, I still wouldn't consider it beatboxing. It's weird. Um, anyways, um, oh, it says
There, there's a
working day and night. He technically does in the beginning of the song.
y-
Um,
yeah. He said that he was a phenomenal beatboxer.
phenomenal.
Yeah, and there's a video. There's a YouTube video.
Phenomenal. Really,
Yeah,
of
there's
him beatboxing for real?
yeah.
Okay, I might have to YouTube that later because I've just never. He does technically beatbox and working day and night. That is true. That is true. Yeah. Okay. Do you know this? Um, if one day you decide to listen to Working Day and Night, yeah, he does. Right in the beginning, he beatboxes in the beginning of the song. I guess I just never thought of it as beatboxing, but yeah, it's
Mhm,
true. It is. Okay. Jackson's fifth solo album and first album as an adult was Off the Wall, established him as a solo performer and helped him move from the bubblegum pop of his youth to more complex sounds. It produced four top 10 entries in the US, that being Off the Wall, She's Out of My Life, and the chart topping singles, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and Rock With You. Um, Fun fact, he is a songwriter, yes, but in this album, he only wrote three songs.
mhm,
Three songs. Don't Stop Till You Get Enough,
mhm.
Working Day and Night, and I believe Get on the Floor was the other one that he wrote, I think. No, he didn't write Get on the Floor. Sorry, that was Rod Templeton. The last song on the album. I think that's the one that he wrote. Um, so yeah, fun fact. Um,
Mm,
so the album reached number three on the U.S. Billboard 200 and sold over 20 million copies worldwide. He also won a Grammy Award for Best Male R&B Vocal Performance for
mm,
1979 with Don't Talk Till You Get Enough. At the American Music Awards during the 1980s, he won Favorite Soul/R&B Single for Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, and two consecutive awards for Favorite Soul/R&B Album, as well as Favorite Soul/R&B Male Artist. In 1981, Jackson was the American Music Awards winner for Favorite Soul/R&B Album and Favorite Soul/R&B Male Artist as well.
Mhm.
Jackson felt Off the Wall should have made a bigger impact. It I can't remember how many it sold, but it's like the second least amount he sold, besides Invincible was
Mhm.
Off the Wall. Um, so yeah, he felt like it made a bigger impact and was determined to exceed expectations with his next release. In 1980, he secured the highest royalty rate in the music industry, 37% of wholesale album profit. Get it. So
Nice.
yeah, that's good. That's great. Let's move on to Thriller, Motown 25,
Mhm. Mhm.
and that pesky Pepsi incident. So from 1981 to 1983, Jackson recorded demos of State of Shock, Victory, and There Must Be More to Life Than This. This was, I think, all the Jackson songs. I know Victory is for sure. With Queen's lead singer Freddie Mercury, planned for a duet album. The project was never completed, though. Damn. State of Shock was later recorded with Mick Jagger for the Jacksons' album Victory in 1984, and There Must Be More to Life Than This was released posthumously in 2014. The There Must Be More to Life Than that. I don't know that one. In 1982, Jackson contributed Someone in the Dark to the audio of the film E.T. and the Extraterrestrial. I
Huh.
don't know that song either, but I did know that. Jackson's sixth studio album, titled Thriller, was released on November 29th, 1982. It was the best selling album worldwide in 1983. It eventually became the best selling album of all time in the US and the best selling album in history worldwide, selling an estimated 70 million copies. It topped the Billboard 200 chart for 37 weeks and was in the top 10 of the 200 for 80 consecutive weeks. It was the first album to produce 7 Billboard Hot 100 top 10 singles, including the number one songs Billie Jean and Beat It. On March 25th, 1983, Jackson reunited with his brothers for Motown 25, Yesterday, Today, and Forever, an NBC television special. The show aired on May 16th to an estimated audience of 47 million and featured the Jacksons and other Motown stars. Jackson's solo performance of Billie Jean earned him his first Emmy Award nomination. Wearing a glove decorated with rhinestones, he debuted his
Mhm.
moonwalk dance, which Jeffrey Daniel had taught him 3 years earlier, and it became his signature dance in his repertoire. Jackson had originally turned down the invitation to the show, believing he had been doing too much television. At the request of Motown founder Berry Gordy, he performed in exchange for an opportunity to do a solo performance. Berry Gordy fought back on that. He did not want that. He wanted to keep it strictly Motown. Michael fought. Michael won. And I think it benefited everybody in the end. But
Huh.
his performance was heavily praised. Rolling Stones, Mikel, not you, Gilmore called the performance extraordinary.
Mhm.
Anna Kizilgoff of the New York Times praised his
Mhm.
performance, perfect timing and technique involved in the dance, and Gordy was mesmerized by the performance. I just know, because again, we were not born at this time, but I know my dad's talked to me about this, and he's like, you will never understand the next day after that performance. Everyone's talking about this performance. He's like, there was nothing like it. No, we hadn't seen anything like that before. How I wish that I could have.
Mhm.
I just know, like, when I watched it for the first time, I had already seen that because, again, once he did that performance of Billie Jean, his words, he was never able to sway away from it. That's what the audience wanted. He kept doing it. So I had seen him perform Billie Jean other times. So it wasn't new for me in that sense. But when I saw this performance, because I actually have the performance on a DVD somewhere, when I watched it for the first time, I was just like, wow. The audience, um, when he moonwalked for the first time and everyone just starts screaming, everyone's up and dancing, like, it's, um It's crazy
Mm,
what he was capable of doing. But at the 26th annual Grammy Awards, Jackson received 12 nominations, the most in a single night, later tied with Babyface, and won 8 awards, breaking the record for most wins in a single night, later tied by Santana. Thriller received 13 nominations, the most of any album, and won 8 awards, including Best Engineered Recording for Bruce Sweden's work. Jackson won 7 awards related to the album, including Album of the Year for Thriller and
mhm,
Record of the Year for Beat It, and also won an award for the E.T. the Extraterrestrial Storybook. At the 11th Annual American Music Awards, Jackson won another 8 awards and became the youngest artist to win the Award of Merit. He also won favorite. We don't have to go through all the ones that he won a lot. Okay, he won a lot of awards.
mm.
Um, and Thriller's sales doubled after the release of an extended music video for its title track, which sees Jackson dancing with a horde of zombies. Because this is
Mm.
Thriller. Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Um,
it's one of the best music videos of all
all
time.
time. Yeah. And again, I think the first time I watched it, I was a little freaked out. I'm
Mhm,
like, zombies, zombie. And now I'm like, the art of this,
mhm.
the art of
Yeah,
this video. It's incredible.
yeah.
I mean, one of the scenes in that music video too now has become a meme or GIF. Is that what we call them?
Mhm.
It's become a GIF for the popcorn.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, gee, yeah.
yeah. The success transformed Jackson into a dominant force in global pop culture, and the album conquered racial divides. He had the highest royalty rate in the music industry at that point, with about $2 for every album sold, equivalent to about $6
Mhm,
in 2024, and was making record breaking profits. In the same year, the making of Michael Jackson's Thriller, a documentary about the music video, won a Grammy for Best Music Video, long form. Time or Times Magazine, described Jackson's influence at that point as, quote, star of records, radio, rock video, a one-man rescue team for the music business, a songwriter who sets the beat for a decade, a dancer with the fanciest feet on the street, a singer who cuts across all boundaries of taste and style and color too. The New York Times wrote, in the world of pop music, there is Michael Jackson and there's everybody else. Boom. Say that for people in the back who wanna try and be like, "Oh, they're like the next Michael Jackson." No, there's no next Michael Jackson. There was Michael Jackson, period. Anyways, in November 1983, Jackson and his brothers partnered with PepsiCo in a $5 million promotional deal that broke records for a celebrity endorsement equivalent to $15.8 million in 2024. The first Pepsi campaign, which ran in the US from 1983 to 1984 and launched its New Generation theme, included tour sponsorship, public relations events, and in store displays. Jackson helped to create the advertisement and suggested using his song Billie Jean with revised lyrics as its jingle. On January 27th, 1984, Michael and other members of the Jacksons filmed a Pepsi commercial overseen by Phil Dunsbury, who was a BBDO ad agency executive, and Alan Patash or whatever,
mm,
Pepsi's worldwide creative director, at the Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles. During a simulated concert before a full house of fans, pyrotechnics accidentally set Jackson's hair on fire, causing second-degree burns to his scalp. Jackson underwent treatment to hide the scars and had his third rhinoplasty shortly thereafter. Again, this is his third rhinoplasty since,
mm,
like, 1978, and it's,
mm.
like, 1984.
Wow.
Anyways, um, Pepsi settled out of court, and
Mhm.
Jackson donated the $1.5 million, which is equivalent to $4.5 million in
Yeah.
2024, to the Brotman Medical Center in Culver City, California. Its now closed Michael Jackson Burn Center was named in his honor. Jackson signed a second agreement with Pepsi in the late 1980s for $10 million. At the time, the second campaign covered 20 countries and provided financial support for Jackson's Bad album and 1987 to 1988 world tour. Um,
Okay.
so I'll come off of the Pepsi stuff, but I do want to say, fun fact, it's not about Michael so much, but Alfonso Ribeiro, as a child,
Mhm.
was also in the commercial with Michael Jackson. He actually danced beside Michael in the Pepsi commercial. Now, Mikkel, do you know who Alfonso Ribeiro is?
No, I do not
Yes,
know
you do.
who.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
I see. I just don't. I just never.
Yeah, well, I
Okay.
know his
Okay.
actual
Okay.
name, but
Yeah. Okay.
yes, Alfonso Ribeiro as a child.
Okay.
He was, I don't know how
Okay.
old he was, but yeah.
Okay.
So we see him there dancing beside him. It's cute. The Victory Tour of 1984 headlined the Jacksons and showcased Jackson's new solo material to more than 2 million Americans. It was the last tour he did with his brothers. Following controversy over the concert's ticket sales, Jackson donated his share of the proceeds, an estimated $3 to $5 million, to
Mhm.
charity. During the last concert of the Victory Tour at the Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, Jackson announced his split from the Jacksons during Shake Your Body. And he said, "I want to shake my body out of this group." No, I'm doing
Mhm.
things by myself now. Um, so we've talked about We Are the World already in a previous
Yeah.
episode that we
Yeah. We
did.
did. We did.
So we're not going to talk about that here. If you
Yeah.
want to hear about that, I can't remember which episode that was. I
Yeah.
think we
Just.
did it actually for Black History Month, I think last
Yeah. I
year.
think we did. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was last year.
Yeah.
So you can find it
Yeah.
there if you want to hear a little bit
Yeah.
more about that.
Yeah.
Um, I don't want to talk about his tabloids, but they go into, I'm sure, Bubbles, the monkey, um, the
Mhm.
elephant bones, and all that nonsense.
Mhm.
I do
Mhm.
not want
Mhm.
to perpetrate that.
Mhm.
Um, okay, so let's go into bad and stuff.
Mhm.
So, following high anticipation, Jackson released his seventh studio album. I'm gonna move forward here and just say his third, fourth, blah blah blah. His third studio album as an adult. I want to
Mhm.
just say that. So this is confusing me. um, titled "Bad" on August 31st, 1987. Bad sold over 2.25 million copies in its first week in the US, debuting at number one on the Billboard 200. It remained atop the chart for 6 weeks. It became the first album to produce five US number one singles, as we discussed before, but I'll say it again. I Just Can't Stop Loving You, Bad, The Way You Make Me Feel, Man in the Mirror, and Dirty Diana. Another single, Smooth Criminal, peaked at number seven. Bad won the 1988 Grammy for Best Engineered Recording, Non-Classical, and the 1990 Grammy Award for Best Music Video Short Form for Leave Me Alone. That's like his worst video ever. Sorry.
But the leave me alone.
Do you know the song?
No.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
fine. It's not probably one of the more popular ones, but
Mm.
it's basically "Leave Me Alone" is a song that he did
Right.
for people talking about him, the tabloids and stuff like that. So that's what
Yeah.
the song's basically about. There
Mhm.
is a video for it, but the video is very weird. It's it's fine. It's just weird. It's very weird. That's all I can keep saying. It's just weird. So I'm surprised that would have been the one that got him an award over all the other ones that he did. Because he did a few long form ones for that album. Bad was one. The Way You Make Me Feel was another one that he did. Um Technically Smooth Criminal, if you wanna get technical, because he did, like, a whole movie called Moonwalker, and Smooth Criminal was in the mix of that. Um, I'm just surprised Leave Me Alone is the one, and I don't consider it a long form music video, it's not.
Mm.
It's just the length of the song, which is, like, 4 minutes or whatever. Anyways, I'm getting picky, but it's just I don't like that video so much. Anyways, Jackson won an award of achievement at the American Music Awards in 1989 after Bad generated five number one singles, became the first album to top the charts in 25 countries, and the best-selling album worldwide in 1987 and 88. The Bad Tour ran from September 12th, 1987 to January 27th, 1989. In Japan, it had 14 sellouts for and drew 570,000 people, nearly tripling the previous record for a single tour. The 504,000 people who attended 7 sold-out shows at Wembley Stadium set a new Guinness World Record. Bad cemented Jackson's status as a dominant music force. The album had sold over 35 million copies worldwide, which ranks it among the best-selling albums of all time.
Oh,
In 1988, Jackson released his autobiography, Moonwalk, with input from Stephen Davis and Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. It sold 200,000 copies and reached the top of the New York Times bestseller list. Jackson discussed his childhood, the Jackson Five, and the abuse from his father. He attributed his changing facial appearance to 3 plastic surgeries, which is not true. He had more than that. Puberty, weight loss, and a strict vegetarian diet. A change in hairstyle and stage lighting. Sure, Jan. Sure, Jan.
yeah.
Um, in June, Jackson was honored with the Grand Vermeil Medal of the City of Paris by the then mayor of Paris, Jacques Chirac, during his stay in the city as part of the Bat Tour. Um, see what else oh, yeah, I do talk about Moonwalker. In October, Jackson released the film Moonwalker, which he featured live footage and short films starring Jackson and Joe Pesci. Do you know who
Mm.
Joe Pesci is, right?
Yeah, yeah, I know Joe
Thank
Bessie.
God.
Yeah.
Joe Pesci. In the US, it was released direct to video and became
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
best-selling video cassette in the country.
Yeah, he was in Home Alone and all that.
Mhm, mhm.
He was in Home Alone.
Yes, he
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
And My Cousin Vinny, yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Uh,
I
And then a
watched
couple.
I did watch Moonwalker, which was very difficult to find,
Mhm.
back in the day, but, it was
Was
fine.
he?
It was
Was he
fine.
in the Was he in the Irishman?
Joe Pesci?
Yeah.
You'd have
Yeah.
to, because I don't think I watched The Irishman, so you would have to look into that.
Yeah.
Um Where else were we here? The Recording Industry Association of America certified it as 8 times platinum in the US. I'm surprised by that. I didn't think Moonwalker was that good, but apparently it was that good.
Oh yeah, yeah, he was. Okay, man.
Okay.
Okay.
In March 1988, Jackson purchased 2,700 acres of land near Santa, I think it's Ynez. Oh, is that right? Sorry, Californians.
Hmm.
To build a new home, Neverland Ranch, at a cost of $17 million, which is about $45 million today. Yikes. He installed a Ferris wheel, a carousel, a movie theater, and a zoo. A security staff of 40 patrolled the grounds. Shortly afterwards, he appeared in the first Western television advertisement in the Soviet Union. Great. Around this time, Jackson became known as the King of Pop, a nickname that his publicists embraced. When Elizabeth Taylor, please tell me you know who Elizabeth Taylor is.
Hmm. Who?
No, okay, we're gonna scoot on by that because I'm nervous what you're gonna tell me next. Elizabeth Taylor presented him with the Soul Train Heritage Award in 1989. She called him the true king of pop, rock, and soul. Yes, Elizabeth, you're correct. President George H.W. Bush, so not
Yeah.
George Bush, the dad,
Hmm.
designated him the White House's Artist of the Decade. I
Nice.
wonder if he still holds that title. Anyways, at the 38th BMI Awards in 1990, Jackson was the first person to be honored with an award named after its recipient. From 1985 to 1990, Jackson donated,
Artist.
sorry,
Artist of the decade is 10 years, right?
decade is 10
Or
years, yes.
yeah, 10 years. Okay, yeah, no. That's probably gonna be
Um,
given to somebody.
hmm?
It's probably gonna give you some. Give. Probably it's gonna be given to somebody else after him. 'Cause
Oh, yeah, it would have been given to other people after him, but I think the thing that's more, important about this is the fact that
Mhm.
it's actually named after him.
Oh, okay, I
The
see.
award is named after him.
I see.
Yeah, yeah. There are a few awards that are named after I don't know if it's maybe a few, maybe it's only this one, but I do know there's awards named after him.
Mm.
Um, because he was, like, the first person that got it or whatever, so it must have been this one. Um Anyways, so 85 to 90, Jackson donated $455,000 to the United Negro College Fund, and all profits from his single "Man in the Mirror" went to charity. His rendition of "You Were There" at Sammy Davis Jr.'s 60th birthday celebration won Jackson a second Emmy nomination. Jackson was the best-selling artist of the 1980s. Damn straight.
Huh.
Now we're heading into the early 90s. So, in March 1991, Jackson renewed his contract with Sony for $65 million, equivalent to $150 million, a record-breaking deal at the time. He released his fourth studio album, Dangerous, on November 21st, 1991, co-produced with Teddy Riley. It was certified 8 times platinum in the US, and by 2018 had sold 32 million copies worldwide. In the US, the first single, Black or White, was the album's highest charting song. It was #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for 7 weeks and achieved similar chart performances worldwide. The second one, Remember the Time, peaked at #3 on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart. At the end of 1992, Dangerous was the best-selling album of the year worldwide, and Black or White the best-selling single of the year worldwide at the Billboard Music Awards. In 1993, he performed Remember the Time at the Soul Train Music Awards in a chair. He had actually twisted his ankle during dance rehearsals,
Mhm.
but the show must go on, so that's what happened.
Right.
And the UK, Heal the World made #2 on the charts in 1992. Story
Hmm.
time. I hate Heal the World. I do. I don't like that song. I always
Heal,
skip it.
heal the world?
I hate that song. I always skip it.
Have
I
never
don't know
heard it.
why. You don't know Heal
Have
the
you?
World?
No.
Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me. And no,
No. No.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, at least I know it. But
Wasn't probably a big song.
no, it was. It was huge. He sang at the
Was
Super
it?
Bowl. He sang at the Super Bowl. If you've watched the Super Bowl performance, you've heard the song.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Probably wasn't that pop.
It
Well, I
was.
mean,
It
just
was a no, no, no. It was a hugely popular song.
really.
I just don't like it, but it was a hugely popular song.
Mm,
Um, and like he creates a foundation called Heal the World Foundation based off of the song
mm,
later on, but I just don't particularly like the song. I love his other songs that have to do with, like, the world and that kinda thing, but this one I just don't like. However, my favorite song from the Dangerous album is actually my favorite of all time of any of his, is, um, Keep the Faith. It's a
mm,
beautiful song. It's not as well known, but, I do highly just say, like, if you want a song that's gonna help pick you up, give you hope or, that whatever, Keep the Faith is that song for me. It helped me through, like, my ex-husband being deported and everything like that.
mhm,
Keep the Faith
mhm,
was
mm.
that song for me. Kept me
Right.
going. Anyway, love that song. Anyways, Jackson
Mhm,
founded, as I just mentioned, I said ahead of time, Heal the World Foundation in 1992. The charity brought underprivileged children to Jackson's ranch to use the theme park rides and sent millions of dollars around the globe to help children threatened by war, poverty, and disease. That July, Jackson published his second book, Dancing the Dream. Didn't know that existed. A collection of poetry, because he did write poetry. In support of Dangerous, Jackson embarked on his second world tour, the World Tour, to raise
mhm,
money for his Heal the World Foundation. I actually saw that tour. They televised it. That's the only tour that I ever saw or performance that he ever did of like a tour that he was doing. It was fun. I understand why
nice.
people were passing out and stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, I saw. Oh, is that the clip that people were passing on every single thing?
Hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but Dangerous was like the only one that I remember being televised after his death, and I definitely watched it.
Hmm,
It was good. Um, yeah, so the tour ran from June 1992 to November 1993, grossing $100 million, again, which he was donating to his charity, so that's a lot of money, from 69 concerts outside the US, attracting over 3.5 million people. Jackson sold the broadcast rights for his October 1st, 1992 concert in Brewer Bucharest to HBO. So that's probably how I saw it. It was probably that performance for $20 million. Then was the highest fee ever paid for a concert performer to appear on television. He
Mm.
donated a portion of that fee to aid Romanian children.
Oh, nice.
Following the death of HIV/AIDS spokesperson and friend Ryan White, who we did talk about.
Mhm.
Oh no, we haven't talked about him yet. I will be talking about him, I think. Don't think we did Ryan White yet. That's this year. So that's gonna come later.
Okay.
I don't want to talk too much about him per se, but I think this is more
Right.
focused on Michael anyways. Jackson pleaded with the Clinton administration at Bill Clinton's inaugural gala to give money to HIV/AIDS charities and research, and performed Gone Too Soon, which he wrote for him, a song dedicated to White and Heal the World at the gala. Um, we don't have to talk about him going to South Africa, but he did go to South Africa. He met Mandela. Let's move on.
Mm.
Um, as we know, we did kind of just briefly talked about Super Bowl. So in January, the
Mhm.
Jackson performed at the Super Bowl halftime show in Pasadena, California. The National Football League sought a big name artist to keep ratings high during halftime, following dwindling audience figures. With 133.4 million viewers. Sorry, Bad Bunny, you didn't make that number. Um, it was the first Super Bowl whose halftime show drew greater audience figures than the game. Jackson played Jam, Billie Jean, Black or White, and Heal the
Mhm.
World.
Mhm.
Dangerous rose 90 places in the US album charts after the performance.
So Kendrick,
Hmm.
Kendrick Lamar is number one. So
How many views?
just slightly over Michael Jackson. One, I think it's 133.5.
133 point, yeah, just slightly over. So he's still in the top.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
okay. Like in total.
Yes, yes.
Curious to know what it was like in the um here's a question. Do they
Mhm.
calculate the numbers for the night itself? Because I actually saw figures, but I wonder if it's for the night itself and not entirely, that Bad Bunny was number one for that one night.
So they did it. The NFL did it, and then
Mhm.
Nelson came with the data, the source. It was Bad Bunny at number four or something like that. That
Okay.
was fourth.
Like in
It's like
total or like for
one.
that
It's like
night?
one. I think he's around 120 to 128 million.
But again,
So
is that in total? Like, because I'm
yeah,
sure people
that's
are
in total.
watching
Yeah,
it
yeah,
after the
yeah,
fact.
yeah, yeah.
Right. So I'm just curious because it's not said here, but I'm just curious if this figure of 133.4 million is for the actual 33.4 is the actual viewership at the time of the performance. Because the only reason I'm questioning it is because in the next sentence it kind of says, which was more than the viewership for the game that night.
So
So I'm
yeah.
wondering if that's the number for
So
when it was
ESP.
actually airing.
So the source is from ESPN. So Bad Bunny's halftime show averaged 128.2 million viewers from 8:15 to 8:30 p.m.
Okay, so the actual performance
Yeah,
itself.
would make it the fourth most watched halftime behind Kendrick Lamar, which is at 133.5 million.
But is that number at the time of the actual Super Bowl, like the actual Super Bowl and
Yeah.
halftime show?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Michael Jackson at 133.4. So yeah, they counted the time before that and Super Bowl for Bad Bunny. So yeah,
Yeah.
they're at, yeah,
That was my question because it's
yeah,
like, is that actually of all time? Because I feel like
yeah,
that number would be even more,
yeah.
right? For all of them, not just Michael Jackson, but for all of
Mhm.
them. Um, so
Mhm.
that's why I was questioning it because I'm like, I wonder if that number is actually from the
Mhm.
airing of the Super Bowl itself.
And then yeah,
Um,
Usher had 129.3. So yeah,
okay,
makes sense. So
he's somewhere there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good though.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's but still 133.4 back then with, I'm sure things were
Yeah,
done
yeah,
very
without
differently
social
than
media.
today.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a crazy number.
Yep, yep.
I mean, again, 133.5 is still a crazy number as well for
Yeah,
Kendrick, so
it is,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, so we went through that. Then, Jackson gave a 90-minute interview with Oprah Winfrey on February 10th, 1993.
Mhm.
Um, one of his first and potentially well, not the only, but his I think was one of the first interviews that he really did because he didn't do interviews, he didn't like them.
Mm,
Um, he spoke of his childhood abuse at the hands of his father. He believed he had missed out on much of his childhood and said that he often cried from loneliness. He denied tabloid rumors that he had brought the bones of the Elephant Man, slept in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber, or bleached his skin.
mm.
Opinion? I do think Michael Jackson bleached his skin.
You
Not
think so?
because, yes, but not because he wanted to be white. I think that's the problem is people are so linear in their thought process. I don't think he did because he wanted to be white. I think he did it because he did have vitiligo, and being a person in the limelight back then, he probably would have had more rumors about, like, what's wrong with his skin and this, that, and so he'd
Mhm.
probably go on to get ahead of it and said, "Let me just bleach it then." So at least then it's or bleach maybe even the parts that are gonna be seen, so that's all,
Right.
you know, one thing. Because if you do I see people now who embrace their vitiligo, and that's how it
Mhm,
should be,
mhm.
um, but I think things were very different 40 years ago where you probably couldn't do that. Hell, I
Yeah.
think even 20 years ago, you couldn't do that. So,
People were just
yeah,
like it was very controversial back then because people were just calling him
exactly,
like white every single thing, so
exactly. And people have shown the proof of, yes, this man had vitiligo, and you can see it,
mhm,
the blotchiness of his skin prior to him getting lighter. Um, the fact that he was getting, you could tell from Off the Wall to Thriller, he was getting lighter even then.
mm,
Um, and I'm sure the Pepsi incident probably didn't help things either with his
yeah,
skin. So, yeah, there is proof that he had vitiligo. Um, but again, I don't think he bleached his skin because he wanted to be white. Like, it's so dumb. It's so
right.
dumb. Um, anyways, um, yeah, so they say that at this time that he had vitiligo. After the interview, Dangerous re-entered the US album charts in the top 10 more than a year after its release. The interview became the most watched television interview in US history to date, with more than 90 million viewers. I have watched this interview. It is not an easy one to get, and it is very 90s. But it's an interesting watch for sure.
Mm,
You can
mm,
get it on YouTube, pretty sure. Um so yes, in January 1993, he won some more awards, American Music Awards, probably a Grammy Award, the
mhm,
35th annual Grammys. Um, yeah, they talk about that he attended the Grammys with Brooke Shields. We do not need to talk about it. Who cares? Moving on.
right.
Do we have any issues with me skipping over the sexual abuse accusations? Just because I don't want to make it about that.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, you
We
can
did
skip
talk
that.
about it in the beginning, but I don't really wanna get into it too much.
Yeah,
So let me scroll down here a little bit. Um, yeah, they do talk about his painkiller addiction,
mm,
because he did have to have surgeries after the Pepsi commercial incident. I think that's important just for what's gonna come next. So, in late 1993, Jackson proposed to Lisa Marie Presley, the daughter of Elvis, over the phone. Over the phone, y'all. Listen, I love Michael, but if a man proposes to you over the phone, it's an automatic no.
mm,
I'm just saying. Anyways, they were married in La Vega, Dominican Republic. in May 1994 by civil judge Hugo Francisco Alvarez Perez.
What year was it? When he
1994.
times were probably different back then too. So
No, he just wasn't around. I think he was, I can't remember if he was in rehab. He might have been in rehab. He went to rehab a few times. Um, and think he might have been in rehab. And that's why he didn't propose to her in person. But I'm sorry, if you're in rehab or you're touring or whatever else is happening, you can wait till you see each other in person. I think that's appropriate. You don't go,
I don't know. Maybe a lot of people did it
I
back.
I'm just saying
You
as a
know,
woman.
I don't know, but
All I'm saying.
it was a different, probably different time back in the day. So like
No, people were still proposing to each other in person. Come on. That's not a different time. If
mm,
anything, people would be doing that now
but
over the
you
phone,
don't
not
know.
not back then.
You don't know.
What do
You
you mean
just
I
saw.
don't know?
You don't know. You just saw it in movies and TV shows.
No,
Probably
I
people
never saw that
did
in
do it
movies
on
and
the
TV
phone.
shows.
You just
No,
saw
no.
it. You just
It's
saw it around your
about it's a
circle.
no, it's about
Mhm.
when you are in a relationship with somebody. So, like, would you break up with somebody over the phone?
Yeah, but people are different. Too, so you got to realize that.
I am saying my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think when it comes to a proposal or
Hmm.
like a big life change like that,
Yeah.
that someone should be accepting a proposal over the phone. I think people deserve better than that.
Uh,
I don't think that's crazy.
There's people different. Well, like I said, like it was the '90s by then, and probably people like some people still kind of do it in a way,
I
but
don't
I don't
think
know.
people do that.
You know you don't know if people probably just less than like 1%. Probably like
Okay,
less
but
than
then
one
those are
percent of
people
people.
accepting those. It's one thing
Yeah.
for
So
someone to be dumb and ask over the phone. It's another thing, though, of someone to accept it. I wouldn't accept that.
it depends who you are as a person. If you're okay with it,
I,
you're okay with it.
I I don't think many people are going to agree with you on that. Personally,
Uh,
I think it's pretty
People,
general consensus that people would be like, "Don't break up with me over the phone. Don't propose to me over the phone." Like, where's the romance in that?
and
Like,
then
that's what I mean. Or if you're going to do it over the phone, I want that followed up with an in-person proposal.
yeah, but
So,
also people don't agree with the woman proposing to the man. So there's
I feel like
women
we're
that do
coming
that.
out of that a little bit more, though. But there are still women who don't feel like they should be proposing to a man. Listen, I think if you uh,
Yeah,
when it
absolutely.
comes to that, I don't care so much. Do what you need to do.
Yeah.
However, that's a little different than proposing over the phone because you're still potentially doing that in person. I don't care who's proposing or whatever. It's more about like what like I wouldn't I wouldn't accept that over the phone. Like I
Yeah.
said, if you're going to do it over the phone, I want that followed up with a proposal.
Yeah,
And I'm coming as a person who's been there and done that, and how I wish things were done differently in my proposal. So, mind you, I wasn't asked over the phone, but my ex didn't ask me at all. His brother did. And I wish that I would have been like, I'm not gonna say yes to that because you didn't ask me, someone else did. So I'm coming from a perspective of like, I've been here and I've done this. I'm just saying we deserve a little bit more than a proposal over the phone
yeah,
or a proposal, a half assed proposal or whatever.
yeah,
We deserve better than that. And I mean, I've talked to many women about this who have been proposed to or hope for a proposal or whatever. They're not gonna accept that.
well, that's
I'm
just hey, that's just your listen, that's just your circle. There's probably different types of people that will be cool. There's a lot of people who do it differently. So like they'll do it like the way that you like it. They'll do it the way that they like it. Some people are spontaneous,
I
right?
don't
They
see
want to do
proposing over the phone as
differently.
spontaneity.
I mean, there's people who, like people who just want to do it differently, like, just don't be predictable,
I don't say that as
So,
predictable. There's ways to be have spontaneity or
and
not be predictable,
that's
but
probably
over the
one of
phone
them.
is just not it.
That's probably one of them. That's probably what did she say yes to it? Or
She
what,
said
did she have a
yes, but I
problem?
mean,
There you go.
I don't know
There
if
you go.
I
She didn't have she didn't have no issue with it, did it?
at
There
the
you go.
time, but again, she was like
And
25.
yeah,
I feel
well,
like
25
at
is too
that
old.
yeah,
You're
but
adult.
your brain's not fully in
No,
her in her
no,
in her
no.
can I finish? In her thing, she was married before. She had 2 kids, whatever. But what I'm saying is just generally, a man isn't going to give you more than what you think you deserve. And if you are like kind of in this place of I don't deserve this or I don't deserve that, then that's what you're going to get. It's all about that's what I'm trying to get at. And the thing is the reason why I'm saying that, I'm not saying that she didn't love him. I'm not saying he didn't love her. But
Mhm.
what I'm saying is he did deserve better than what she got. And I think the writing was on the wall with the proposal on the phone because how he treated her towards the end of their marriage is despicable. So that's where I'm
Okay.
coming from. I'm coming from a perspective where I know from the outside what generally happened and what ended their marriage. He was despicable to her because, God forbid, she didn't want to immediately have children with him. So
Okay.
what did he do? He cheated on her and had a child with somebody else and then ended their marriage.
Yeah.
That is
I
not
guess
cool.
it's not cool, like the way how the people treat it. But like I said, people propose doesn't mean people will treat you badly because they propose you different. People just like to just be different. Like
So
it's
would
different.
you
It's
think it's okay then as a man to propose
I
to
would
somebody over the phone?
I wouldn't have a problem
But
anyways because we would probably do it physically. Like if she just like if I said um would you marry me, right? Or if she said it, right, I wouldn't have a problem because we will meet in person and do it in person,
then you
right?
just said exactly what I just said earlier, that if
Hmm.
you're going to do it over the phone,
Yeah,
at least make sure you're following it up with a proposal in person,
yeah.
which is what
See,
I
they did
said
it
in the
first.
beginning.
Would you marry me on the
Yes,
phone,
but that is not
and
what
then
happened
go do
here.
it in person?
But that's not what
That's
happened here. He proposed to her over the phone. They
uh
met in the DR. They
huh.
got married.
Well,
There
at
was
least
no
they got.
proposal in person.
Well, did she have a ring at least?
She didn't have a ring before they saw each other. I think they didn't see each other until they got married.
If she hadn't, like I said, people do it differently. They don't like it. Like
Yeah, well,
people are
her mama
different to
sure
me.
as hell did not like Michael Jackson and still talk about him today.
No, it's
I
not
mean,
because
I'm
he
not saying
proposed it that
Priscilla
way.
Presley is like Priscilla can shut
Yeah,
up
it's
at the
probably
same
because
time, but
it's because possibly because she treated her wrong. Not because he proposed to her in that way.
no, I
People
think
do.
the problem is that people
Hmm.
another thing that maybe you don't know about so
Uh.
much is the suspicion with
Hmm.
Michael
Hmm.
marrying Lisa Marie Presley was this having this close proximity to the Presley family. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. I don't know
Hmm.
his motives. He obviously
Hmm.
never admitted to that. But there was that rumor that he had this close proximity to her because he did meet Lisa Marie Presley when she was 7 and he was 17. So there
Hmm.
is this weird proximity that he
Hmm.
maybe wanted to have to the Presley family. And I think that's where the uncomfiness comes in with their marriage. Of course, he denies that, she denies that, but we're never really gonna know, because he never admitted to it. And obviously, we're not gonna know now. So I think for me, just as again, I'm not saying this because I'm hating on Michael Jackson, of course
Hmm.
not.
Hmm.
But what I'm trying to say is with that rumor alongside this, in my opinion, half-assed version of a proposal, it doesn't look good. It doesn't kinda help that for me, doesn't kind of help that were you just in this because of who she was? Or were you really in love with her? I don't know. I don't know, but that's what I'm
Mm,
getting at. So that's why I'm kind of coming generally speaking, just
well,
check the
just
motives of people and why they do
yeah,
certain
that's not.
things. So,
I don't think that's one. I just think the way how she treated with wasn't my what
no,
Mike did was badly, but like
no, but
you know,
that
like
was a rumor.
what the whole
That was a
like she was
legitimate
selling.
rumor that went around.
Yeah,
To this day,
yeah,
it still goes around that
yeah.
that
Well,
he used her because of her close proximity to the because she was Elvis's mom.
Elvis. Well, because
Yes.
oh,
So that's a rumor that still comes out today.
Elvis was still popping when
He's still
he
popping
got
now. What
that.
do you mean? It literally That's not true.
Nobody
He literally came out
mentions
with the
him
daughter.
that much unless you're
Yes,
a
he is. Yes, he is. You are incorrect.
back in
There
the
are
2000s, in the early 2000s,
no,
yeah,
no,
90s,
there are
but
people who still
people
listen
still
to
talk about Michael
Elvis.
Jackson. Elvis,
I
not
disagree with
that
you 100%
much.
on that because they did the movies. There's been 2 movies of Elvis Presley, and they're making another one. So what are you talking about? Elvis Presley is always gonna be a part of the mainstream conversation when it comes to music. He is Elvis Presley. He is the king of rock and
I,
roll, just like Michael is the king of pop. He's always going to be in there will become a time where he's going to be kind of like Elvis where maybe he isn't being talked about as much or whatever, but he's always going to be somewhat in the conversation because of who he
oh
was in
no, like
music.
who he is,
Same
like
thing with
as a record, but
Elvis.
like as popularity, his popular
Ah,
has
I think he
dwindled.
is still pretty popular.
Mm,
I would very much disagree with you on that.
I just haven't heard his name since been
We
popped
just said
off.
his name a couple
No, no,
weeks
like I
ago.
haven't heard like like other than we talked about his name. Other than that, since roughly like the mid 2000s, to
But
be honest,
no,
I
I
heard
no,
like at least one
that's absolutely
songs.
incorrect. That's absolutely incorrect. I think the problem is that you're not listening to the Elvis Presleys or you're not listening to that kind of music of Elvis Presley, right? You're not in that same kind of group of people who would be listening to Elvis. Um, so but that does not mean that he's still not a popular person in music industry. He of course he is. The Elvis name is always being or the Presley name, I should say, is always being brought up. And when you're bringing up other people in the Presley family, it's you're automatically gonna think about Elvis as well. It's just how it is. When Lisa Marie Presley died, how do you not think about Elvis? Then her son died, how do you not go back and think about Elvis? Like, he's constantly gonna be in that mainstream conversation to some degree because of who he is in the music industry. So, yeah.
Mm,
Like, do you listen to Elvis Presley? Do you listen to his music?
not as much.
There you go. But that's what I'm trying to say to you. Just because
Elvis.
you're not listening to his music doesn't mean that others aren't.
Elvis Presley's popularity has experienced a significant slow burn comeback. Streaming chart performance monthly. He's maintained approximately 12.3 to 2 to 13.7 million unique monthly listeners on Spotify. Uh, compared to compare that to fifth. Okay, all right. Uh, okay,
You're just
all
not
right.
listening to his music, and that's okay. But that does not, you can't make a unilateral decision about
I mean, I'm looking
Elvis
at it.
Presley or some other artist that you don't listen to and say, oh, but
I
they're
mean,
not being listened to as
I
much.
mean, I'm looking at the stats, but in the 2020s, not like the back in the
Okay,
and.
that's whatever. I don't, doesn't matter what's actually looking at. But what I'm saying is
Mhm.
just because you aren't listening to him
No, no, it's
does
not
not
because
mean that others
I'm not listening
aren't.
to him. I just like when I wasn't like in the early like no 2000, I used to hear his name more around. I used to you know like I used to hear his name more.
I don't hear his name
Tro
any more now than I did back then, to
I
be
did,
totally
I
honest
I
with you.
did so much. It's like it was about, like, Elvis Presley, Elvis Presley. Now in, like,
I don't know about that.
the 2020s, I don't hardly hear his name
I definitely
that
wasn't
much
hearing Elvis Presley's name as much
that much.
as I
His
as,
music not even not really in the 2020s. Obviously, it's never it hardly gets played. Only if it's, like if they do, like, a retro radio type of thing, but otherwise than that, yeah, no.
um, yeah, I mean, if they do play but here's the thing, you may think, though, that, like, Elvis Presley isn't
For
making money
anniversary.
off of his music,
Mhm.
but they are technically, even though they're playing different
Oh, no,
versions of
he's making
his
money off his music. No,
let
I'm
me
not
finish.
saying
Let me finish what I'm
uh-huh,
saying. There is, like, for example, the Fools Rush In
uh-huh,
song, right?
yeah,
And we all know the more, like, 90s version of that song where it's more upbeat and all of that, but that is an Elvis Presley song. So, technically, even though we're not hearing his version of the song, it
mhm,
is his song. So, in that sense, we are still hearing Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley is still very much a part of
mhm.
music, even if it's different versions, because at the end of the day, his estate is still making money off
Oh,
of
yeah,
other
he's
versions
still
of his
yeah,
song.
he's still making money here and
During
there.
Christmas,
The
the amount of
like
times I heard Blue
yeah,
Christmas is insane.
the one song, I don't know if it's from Dolly,
Mhm.
but towards the end, she says, who do you think you are, Elvis or something? Or
No, that's Shania
some
Twain.
is it? Oh,
Yeah,
okay, alright,
it's you don't impress me
that was
much.
the one song that I always hear, that was always mentioned Elvis Presley. I was like, that's
Yeah,
the
because
extra
Shania
one song,
Twain loves
and
Elvis Presley.
that's probably like an old song, I'm
It's
like,
not that old. It's, mm,
it's
late
old.
90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, that's old.
Yeah, it's
That's
not that
old.
old. Calm down.
I mean, like,
Um,
yeah, see you see what I'm trying to say? Like, that's basically
yeah,
when
but
they
again,
mention him more.
some putting you're naming one song
Yeah,
that Elvis Presley is mentioned in.
and
That
then
to me isn't
yeah,
constantly being talked about. And
yeah,
I'm not surprised by Shania Twain mentioning Elvis Presley because she's
yeah,
a
yeah,
huge
towards the end of
fan
the
of
song.
Elvis Presley.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, and when I heard that song when I was working, like, a couple years ago, I was like, "Elvis Pre oh, Susan? Huh? We're in
at
2023."
the time, but even again, even at the time, it
Yeah.
I thought it weird, like, Elvis Presley, like, why are you naming Elvis Presley? Like, Elvis Presley's dead,
I mean, he was
you
still
know?
people were talking about him back in the 90s, still talking about him in the 90s, like, they were
I mean,
just
yes, but I
it
still
was like
thought, like, just in terms of the context of the song,
yeah, people
it was like, Elvis Presley. How can
there's
anyone
something
think he's Elvis Presley? Like, it's it's weird because he died in 1977. Elvis Presley was
it's
hot in the '60s, not even in the '70s, in the '60s,
I mean, his
okay?
music
'50s and
was
'60s. I don't mean hot in terms of his
yeah,
music is hot, I mean him hot.
yeah.
I mean him making women throw their panties and their
Oh,
bras at
yeah,
him.
yeah,
That
yeah,
kinda hot because he's
yeah, yeah,
gyrating. That
yeah,
kinda hot.
yeah,
But that was, like, in the '50s and '60s.
yeah,
'70s, that was coked up Elvis. That's a different Elvis.
mhm.
So I thought it weird, personally, even then, that of all people, she mentions Elvis Presley but
It's
it's because she had a love for Elvis Presley. But she has changed the lyric of that song for
did
modern
she?
day. Not like
Did she really? Sh
not permanently, but when she performed that song in modern day, it was maybe 6 or so years ago,
did
she performed that song and she
to
changed the name
to
to
who?
more modern day person. I can't remember who it was now though, but
Brad
it
Pitt?
was
George Clooney?
she already says Brad Pitt in the song. If you know the song, she already says Brad Pitt in the song. So not Brad
She
Pitt.
mentioned Brad Pitt? Yeah,
She
yeah,
does.
I remember that.
She does
Yeah, okay,
mention Brad Pitt
yeah,
in the
yeah,
song.
yeah, she does, yeah, she does.
So it definitely wasn't Brad Pitt, but it was I don't know why I'm thinking
Uh,
Ryan Reynolds. I feel like she
50
might have
Cent?
said Ryan Reynolds. I feel like she might have said Ryan Reynolds. Um, or if
She's
not
smart
him,
though,
Ryan Gosling.
she was probably like, "Do people even listen to Elvis?" She
They
probably
don't
just
know what
like,
he looks like now. But, yeah,
let's change that to" she probably has probably looked into his, like, his situation with the whole yeah,
yeah,
that
Elvis
too,
Presley
that could have had an
isn't
issue as well.
Yeah.
minors as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but that probably is why she changed it, and then,
But I hate to again say, here's the thing, y'all. I hate to, I mean,
don't say it's the time, 'cause, like,
well, it
please, don't
was.
you
It technically
don't do
was.
that.
But
Don't be one of those. Don't
here's what I was say though. It's a little different for me with Elvis Presley. Um, Only because not different in that sense. Let me finish. Give me a minute.
uh-huh.
Different in the sense of people talked about the fact that
Mm,
Elvis had a fascination with virgins. That's what makes him gross to me. Not so much that he married a 14-year-old, because I mean, that's gross too, but not even so much about that. It's about this fact that he had this weird fascination with being with a virgin woman.
yeah.
And I'm like, ew, you're fucking gross.
Yeah.
You're disgusting. So
Yeah.
that for me is where my issues lie with Elvis Presley.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yeah.
because what is that? Why is that? Like, ew. Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
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 Anyways,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
let's get back to Michael. It's
Yeah,
Black
let's go
History
back to
Month,
that.
y'all. That's
Yeah.
Michael.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, the tabloid media speculated that the wedding was a publicity stunt to deflect away from Jackson's sexual abuse allegations and jumpstart Presley's career as a singer. She didn't really do a lot of singing. She did have one song though that I quite enjoyed. It was called Lights Out.
Mhm.
I think it's called Lights Out. Yeah, Lights Out. Um, I liked it. She had like um what's her name? Like the "Come to my window," like that lady. I don't know why her name's not coming to me right now. That's horrible. But she had that kind of um sound to her voice. Melissa Etheridge, there we go. She had a very Melissa Etheridge sound to her voice. So, anyways, just wanna say that.
Mhm.
Um, so maybe this marriage was a little bit transactional. Nothing wrong with that. Their marriage ended a little more than a year later, and they separated in December 1995. Presley cited irreconcilable differences when filing for divorce the next month and only sought to reclaim her maiden name as her settlement. After the divorce, Judge Perez said, "They lasted longer than I thought they would. I gave them a year. They lasted a year and a half."
Huh.
Presley later said she and Jackson had attempted to reconcile intermittently for 4 years following their divorce, and that she had traveled the world to be with him. Now, I didn't know it was 4 years, but if anyone ever saw a picture of Michael and Lisa Marie Presley where he's wearing like a black mask, they're like holding hands. I think this is the one where she kisses him through the mask. They were already divorced. It was like 4 years later.
Mm,
I never knew that before, but when she did her interview with Oprah, a few years after his death, that's what she said.
hmm.
So, um, Jackson composed music for the Sega Genesis video game Sonic the Hedgehog 3 in '94, but left the
Nice.
project around the time the sexual abuse allegations surfaced and went uncredited. So there you
Mhm.
go.
Mhm.
We don't have to go back into that anymore. Um, but let's just kind of go into a different era a little bit. So in June 1995, after his divorce, Jackson released the double album History, Past, Present, and Future, Book One. The first disc, History Begins, is a greatest hits album, reissued in
Uh-huh.
2001 as Greatest Hits, History Volume 1. I own that one. The second disc, History Continues, contains 13 original songs and two cover versions. The album debuted at number one on the charts and has been certified for 8 million shipments in the US. It is one of the best-selling albums of all time, with 20 million copies sold worldwide. History received a Grammy nomination for Album of the Year. The New York Times reviewed it as the testimony of a musician whose self-pity now equals his talent. The first single from History was Scream. Scream's childhood, y'all. That is
Hmm.
two different songs. Um, but anyways, Scream. which was a duet with Jackson's younger sister, Janet, protests the media's treatment of Jackson during the 1993 child abuse allegations against him. The single reached number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 and received a Grammy nomination for Best Pop Collaboration with Vocals. The second single, You're Not Alone, written by R. Kelly, holds the Guinness World Record for the first song to debut at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. I'm gonna leave it there because I don't want to talk about that song anymore. Um, if you want to know my thoughts, I've said it before
Mhm.
on this song. I'm not going to say it again. In 1995, the Anti-Defamation League and other groups complained that "Jew me, sue me, everybody do me, kick me, kike me, don't you black or white me," the original lyrics of "They Don't Care About Us" was anti-Semitic. And y'all completely missed the point of the lyrics. He wasn't trying to be anti-Semitic. He was trying to prove a point. Y'all missed the point.
Mm.
Jackson released a revised version of the song. In late 1995, Jackson was admitted to a hospital after collapsing during rehearsals for a televised performance caused by stress-related panic attack. Would not be his last one, by the way. He
Mm.
actually had another one, if I remember correctly, when he presented the award to James Brown at the BET Awards.
Mm.
So
Mm.
in November, Jackson merged his ATV music catalog with Sony's music publishing division, creating Sony ATV Music Publishing. He retained ownership of half of the company, earning $95 million up front, as well as the rights to more songs. Earth Song was the third single released from History and topped the UK singles chart for 6 weeks over Christmas in 1995. It became the 87th best-selling single in the UK. At the 1996 Brit Awards, Jackson's performance of Earth Song was disrupted by pulp singer Jarvis Cocker, don't know who that is, who was protesting that Cocker saw as Jackson's Christ-like persona. What? Oh,
Mm.
okay, I understand what he's trying to say. It's a stretch, but I understand what he's saying.
Mm.
If you watch the video, you'll understand.
Oh, I see.
There's
Okay.
a scene. Have you seen the video of Earth Song?
No, I haven't seen that.
No, okay. There's like it's hard for me to explain the video, but he's kind of like in this war-torn scene, and they show like different scenes and stuff, but
Mm.
he's predominantly in this one scene. And there's one point where like wind is kind of coming and is trying to like push everything back into what it should be without a war. And it does kind of have a view that he's on a cross potentially, but he's not. There's, like, no cross there, but it can kind of look like he's mimicking, like,
Mm.
Jesus on the cross kinda thing,
I see.
but it's, I personally think is a stretch,
Mhm.
but I do understand, I guess, what this person is saying, is all I'm saying, but it's a stretch. Um,
Mm.
Jackson said the stage invasion was disgusting and cowardly. In 1996, Jackson won a Grammy. Okay, we're just gonna go past the Grammys. Okay, so his children. Let's get into the children because I feel like we need to. Um, so during his tour that he was in during in Sydney, Australia, probably the history tour, Jackson married Debbie Rowe, who was a dermatology assistant,
Mhm.
his dermatologist assistant, who was 6 months pregnant with his first child. Michael Joseph Jackson Jr., or Prince, was born on February 13th, 1997. His sister Paris Michael Catherine Jackson was born on April 3rd, 1998. Jackson and Rowe divorced in 2000. Rowe conceded custody of the children with an $8.5 million settlement. So, in case someone
Mm.
understands what I'm saying here, she gave up the rights to her children.
Right.
In 2004, after the second child abuse allegations against Jackson, she returned to court to claim custody. The suit, however,
Mm.
was settled in 2006. He did not lose his kids. In 1997, Jackson released Blood on the Dance Floor, which contained remixes of singles from History and 5 new songs. Worldwide sales stand at 6 million copies, making it the best-selling remix album. It reached number one in the UK, as did the single Blood on the Dance Floor. In the US, the album reached number 24 and was certified platinum. It's an okay album. Um, I only know 3 songs because I refuse to listen to the others, but, like, I'm not listening to Morphine. It's not gonna happen. But yeah, the others, I love Ghost, Is It
Mhm,
Scary, Blood on the Dance Floor.
mm,
Um, so here, actually, we can talk about the label dispute because I said I didn't remember the details.
mhm.
We got the details. So
Okay.
October 1997 to September 2001, Jackson worked with his 10th solo album, Invincible, which cost 30 million um, to record, making it the most expensive album of all time. In June 1999, Jackson joined Luciano Pavarotti for a war child benefit concert in Modena, Italy. The show
Mm,
raised $1 million for refugees of the Kosovo War and additional funds for the children of Guatemala. Later that month, Jackson organized a series of Michael Jackson and Friends benefit concerts in Germany and Korea. Other artists involved included Slash, The Scorpions, Boyz II Men, Luther Vandross, Mariah Carey, A.R. Rahman. I don't know who some of these people are. Shabana, Andrea Bocelli, excuse
mm,
me, and Luciano Pavarotti. The proceeds went to the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, the Red Cross, and I think it's UNESCO. In 1999, Jackson was presented with the Outstanding Humanitarian Award at Bollywood Movie Awards in New York City, where he noted Mahatma Gandhi, to have seen an inspiration for him. Um, let's just scroll down a little bit because we're just going into more of his stuff in terms of awards. So we can skip that. Okay. The release of Invincible was preceded by a dispute between Jackson and his record label Sony Music Entertainment. Jackson had expected the licenses to the masters of his albums to revert to him in the early 2000s, after which he would be able to promote the material however he pleased and keep the profits. But clauses in the contract set the revert date years into the future. Jackson sought an early exit from his contract. Invincible was released on October 30th, 2001. It was Jackson's first full length album in 6 years and the last album of original material he released in his lifetime.
mm,
It debuted at number one in 13 countries and went on to sell 8 million copies worldwide, receiving double platinum certification in the US. On January 9th, 2002, Jackson won his 22nd American Music Award for Artist of the Century. Not even just a second, y'all, century. Later that
mm,
year, okay, his next child, he had it with an anonymous surrogate mother who gave birth to his third child, Prince Michael Jackson II, or Blanket. Um, Opening conceived by artificial insemination. Um, we don't need to talk about him dangling his child over the balcony. If you know, you know. So we don't need to talk about that. So yeah, in July 2002, at Al Sharpton's National Action Network in Harlem, Jackson called the Sony Music chairman Tommy Mottola, quote, a racist and a very, very devilish, and accused him of exploiting black artists for his own gain. The accusation prompted Sharpton to form a coalition investigating whether Mottola exploited black artists. Jackson charged that Mottola had called his colleague Irv Gotti, oh boy, quote, fat N-word. Sony issued a statement calling the accusations ludicrous, spiteful, and hurtful, and said Mottola had championed Jackson's career for years. Sony refused to
mm.
renew Jackson's contract and said that a $25 million promotional campaign had failed because Jackson refused to tour in the US for Invincible. Okay, let's go past. They talk about the documentary, like the making, the the one that they did with Martin Bashir. Um, so we have to talk about that. And I don't want to talk about his financial problems. It does not matter in this case, but he did have issues. But anyways, so on June 25th, 2009, less than 3 weeks before his concert residency, was due to begin in London, with all concerts sold out. Jackson died from cardiac arrest caused by a propofol and benzodiazepine overdose. Conrad Murray, his personal physician, had given Jackson various medications to help him sleep at his rented mansion in Holmby Hills, Los Angeles. Paramedics received a 911 call at 12:21 p.m. Pacific time and arrived at the property 4 minutes later. Jackson was not breathing, and CPR was performed. Resuscitation efforts continued en route to Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center, and for more than an hour after Jackson's arrival, but were unsuccessful, and he was pronounced dead at 2:26 p.m. Pacific time. Murray had administered propofol, lorazepam, and midazolam, whatever. Jackson's death was caused by a propofol overdose. News of his death spread quickly online, causing websites to slow down and crash from user overload, and it put unprecedented strain on many services and websites, including Google, AOL, Instant Messenger, Twitter, and
Huh?
Wikipedia. Overall, web traffic rose by between 11% and 20%. MTV and BET aired marathons of Jackson's music videos, and Jackson specials aired on television stations across the world. MTV briefly returned to its original music video format, and they aired hours of Jackson's music videos with live news specials featuring reactions from MTV personalities and other celebrities. Jackson's memorial was held on July 7th, 2009, at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, preceded by a private family service at Forest Lawn Memorial Park's Hall of Liberty. Over 1.6 million fans applied for tickets to the memorial. The 8,750 recipients were drawn at random, and each received 2 tickets. The memorial service was one of the most watched events in streaming history, with an estimated U.S. audience of 31.1 million and a worldwide audience of an estimated 2.5 to 3 billion. Mariah Carey, Stevie Wonder, his cousin, Lionel Richie, Jennifer Hudson, and Shaheen Jaffagoli, I think is how you say it, performed at the memorial, and Smokey Robinson and Queen Latifah gave eulogies. Al Sharpton received a standing ovation with cheers when he told Jackson's children, quote, "Wasn't nothing strange about your daddy. It was strange what your daddy had to deal with, but he dealt with it anyway." Jackson's 11-year-old daughter, Paris Catherine, speaking publicly for the first time, wept as she addressed the crowd. And again, if you watched it,
Huh?
that was absolutely gut-wrenching.
Huh?
Lucius Smith provided a closing prayer. On September 3rd, 2009, the body of Jackson was entombed at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California. Um, yeah, so I'm not going to talk about the trial of Conrad Murray. If you want to look into that, you can. But I will not be talking about that here. I'm not giving that man anymore anything more than what he already got.
Mm.
Um, so in terms of his sales post death, so at the 2009 American Music Awards, Jackson won 4 posthumous awards, including 2 for his compilation album Number Ones, bringing his total American Music Awards to 26. In the year after his death, more than 16.1 million copies of Jackson's albums were sold in the US alone, and 35 million copies were sold worldwide, more than any other artist in 2009. He became the first artist to sell 1 million music downloads in a week, with 2.6 million song downloads. Thriller, Number Ones, and The Essential Michael Jackson became the first catalog albums to outsell any new album. Jackson also became the first artist to have 4 of the top 20 best-selling albums in a single year in the US. Within the year following his death, Jackson sold over 75 million records worldwide. By the end of 2013, Jackson had sold over 50 million albums worldwide since his death. Following the surge in sales, in March 2010, Sony Music signed a $250 million deal with the Jackson estate to extend their distribution rights to Jackson's back catalog until at least 2017. It had been due to expire in 2015. It was the most expensive music contract for a single artist in history. They agreed to release 10 albums of previously unreleased material and new collections of released work. The deal was extended in 2017, as we just mentioned. Um, and At that July, a Los Angeles court awarded Quincy Jones $9.4 million of distributed royalty payments for Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad, as he deserves. So what else here that I'm going to talk about before we end this? Because we could be here forever because it's paragraph after paragraph after paragraph of his stuff post death. So we don't need to get into that. Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
think we're yeah, I think we're gonna end it here because again, like I
Mhm.
said, we could be here forever talking about
Mhm.
everything that happened after his death, but
Mhm.
in terms of his sales and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I think like we mentioned more so in the um I think we did like music, like black people in music. We did that I think the
Mhm.
first
Mhm.
year that our first annual Black History Month. And we talked about the fact that Michael Jackson paved the way for Black artists
Right.
on MTV because they weren't playing Black artists on MTV.
Mhm.
He was the first one in for I think Thriller. He was the very first one. And imagine now the Black artists that came after him that would be able to have their music play. I mean, MTV doesn't do that anymore, but you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
really
Mhm.
be able to have that kind of moving forward. Um, so he really did pave the way for Black artists. He blurred the racial lines with his music. Um, there's like I said, there's no one like him, and
Yeah.
there never will be. So again, I mean, but that is Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Wow, yeah, that's it for me, and yeah, we'll see how this movie is in a couple months.
All right. That's it.
That's it.
Right. Rest in peace of Michael Jackson. He was one of the
Mhm.
greatest pop singers of all time, and
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
So
Amen to that.
yeah. Okay. All right. I'm out.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're out. We'll be back
Yeah.
next week,
Yeah. Yeah.
with, an episode.
All right.
Alright. Bye,
Peace,
everybody.
guys.
If you liked what you heard with our podcast, you can head on over to our website, which is solo.to/next take podcast. There you can get any of the links to any of our social media, which is Facebook, Instagram at Next Take Podcast, and Twitter, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Next Take Pod. You can also find links to our Reddit page and many other things, I'm sure. Can't remember all off the top of my head. You can also email us at mikeltanika@gmail.com. There you can send us any inquiries, if you have any questions, or also any episode ideas. And if you do have episode ideas, just make sure you put in the subject line episode ideas, and we'll add it to our list. If you also liked us, you can like us, rate us, follow us on any of your favorite podcast apps. You can rate us, however, on Spotify and Apple Podcast. We would greatly appreciate that. And we'll also move forward and share or spot a light on those who give us 5-star ratings in the future. That is it for us. We'll see you next time for the episode.